welcome back. After ladies' affair, now it's men's affair. Let's talk about money, let's talk about finance, and let's talk about economy. It's all about money. It's about economy and finance, something that is affecting all of us. And without money, without our finances put right, things can never go well. And with me in studio, I have Mr. Peter Macharia Kamau, who is the CEO of Jijenge Credit Limited, who is going to help us just to talk about finances, how to talk about the microfinance, talk about lending, talk about the SMEs, you know, all you need to know, and how the COVID-19 pandemic has affected the industry in a big way. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Peter. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Victor.
Yes.
And I'm happy to see a fully rebranded KBC studio.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes.
It looks nice.
We are doing this, we are doing this. It's a cold season out there. I don't know how cold the finance and the SMEs and the lending industry is all about. Are you also in the cold?
Well, partly yes, partly no. The cold is still there with the finance sector.
Yes.
Because of the background where we've started. It was really affected by COVID.
Yes.
And as you know, most businesses closed. Others are operating on half threshold. Others are wiped out, but others are trying to start up all over again. And by and large, as you know, Kenyans are very resilient. They are very optimistic in everything that they do. There are those businesses that are coming up and catching up with the situation. However, as Jack Ma said, we just need to, during the COVID period, we need to survive, not to make any profits. And therefore, as long as you're able to pay rent, school fees, and meet your basic requirements, paying salaries and all that, you're good to go as we wait for COVID to disappear. Yeah. Yes.
And so, are most people now taking up the SMEs, the loans, and the microfinance? Are people now coming back generally after the COVID? Because the situation is not going to, to normalize anytime soon. It's going to be with us for some time.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yes, people are coming for facilities.
Yeah.
And we've seen a huge uptake of facilities. But this time the setup and the approach is different.
Yes.
Because initially people used to have a quick uptake of funds. But now, because of the taxes and the margins, low profit margins,
yes,
people are very keen on their installments. They are really calculating. You explain to somebody today, he goes home, sleeps over it, then comes back tomorrow. Because for readjustments, all those things, that's what is happening on the ground. People are very thorough, very keen, because the road ahead is not so clear.
So it seems that the rate of the SMEs in the country is quite low right now. Why? Why is that so?
Yes, the uptake of SME credit is a bit low. But the main reason is the one I've told you, because it's very uncertain. You're not sure whether, if you buy goods now, the purchasers will buy, or the sales will be high. Because one, the buying power is very low currently. The net amount that most people are taking home for their either salaries or their businesses is also quite low. And therefore, those are major factors. And also the issue of the COVID prevalence.
Yes.
The issue of vaccination, actually, it's like a vaccination process, and the uptake of facilities are going hand in hand. The more people, the more we vaccinate more people, there's a lot of hope and now certainty, and therefore people are taking some facilities.
So what can be done to spur the uptake in the private sector?
Well, number one, we need to really come up with grants and funds that can support the private sector. Number two, we need to really readjust and try to mitigate. Maybe we request the government to mitigate on the tax levels. Then number 3, the organizations, maybe government organizations like counties that are holding funds,
Yeah.
they need to be requested to pay the SMEs, because MSMEs and the people with disabilities, most of them are the ones that supply these organizations with what they need. And as you know, most counties have not been paying. So that's a lot of, those are very huge funds that have been locked on the side of the counties.
Yes.
So if they are released, it will spur that growth.
Yes.
Yes.
In terms of, we have the new Finance Act in place right now.
Yes.
And it's going to raise the mobile money, the excess duty on the mobile lending.
Yes.
Are you much afraid that this might lock so many people from taking this kind of loans? Because most people depend on the mobile money transfers and, the small loans that people take on mobile phones.
Well, it's true. It might affect the uptake.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, as you know, the people will need the funds. What might also be on the higher side is the level of bad debts, because mobile loans, most mobile loans are not secured.
Yes.
That's
so
why the interest rates. Yeah, that's why the interest rates are usually, I think the minimum currently is Mshwari, or I think the minimum rate is 7.5% per month. Therefore, and the reason for that is because, one, it is unsecured, it is a high risk facility, and therefore, if you add 20% to the 7.5,
yes,
it will be almost 9% interest per month. And therefore, the level of bad debts, the level of non-payment, the level of write-offs, the risk will be higher.
It will be higher.
Yeah, but it might not affect the uptake.
Yes.
Because the finance need is there.
Yes.
Yes.
But when you look at the government is also proposing that when you take a loan, the same loan will be taxed.
Yeah, they are looking at, the government is looking at so many ways and avenues of taxing funds.
Yeah. Is this a good move, really?
Well, currently, the government and KRA, they are looking for ways and means of tapping getting as much taxes as possible.
Yes.
Well, it might slow the uptake of MSMEs loans, because as a business, you also pay taxes.
Yeah.
You pay VAT, you pay PAYE, you pay all those other taxes, duty and all that. So now, if you pay a certain percent on tax on your loan, it might reduce. If you are taking $1 million, you might be tempted to take half, so that at least you can pay lower taxes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And how is this going to affect the loan uptake? Because right now, somebody said that, for example, the way you said, I want to take $1 million, and the government is still going to tax this $1 million bob, which you've also taxed.
Yes.
Are you seeing a situation where the kind of the business that is running right now, the micro lenders and SMEs, will be affected in a way?
Partly yes, and partly no. They will be affected because now they'll have to do additional reporting, tax reporting. Yeah. Number 2, as I've told you, the uptake will be a bit lower. So if they are targeted to give out $1 billion, they might not achieve those targets. And then number 3, people would like to take that in the initial stages. Yeah. People might want to take the stance of the wait and see. Let me see how this new tax is going to be operationalized, how it's going to affect me, and all that. Yeah. And so, in terms of business now, the common mwananchi might not understand how this thing is going to be affected. Yes. What are you, as a micro lenders? Yes. I know you have an organization, you have got a voice. Are you looking at a way that you're going to have a discussion with the government so that this can be regulated? Just to give you some reprieve a bit. Definitely, I know some BMOs are going to engage the government. We are members of most of those BMOs. And I am privileged to sit in some of those committees, the finance committees of those organizations. And yes, we are engaging the government and KRA on those parameters. Yes. So that we can see some reprieve for our members or for Kenyans in general. So the tax burden can be moderated so that you are not taxed right, left, and center.
Yeah.
Because if they tax the loan, they are taxing you for even before you even go and buy the goods. And most of the goods that are purchased, especially locally, they are already taxed.
Already taxed.
Yes.
So you have got like double taxes.
Double or triple taxes.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about the non-performing loans.
Yes.
Most of the commercial banks in the country are performing dismally and poorly because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yes.
We have got non-performing loans. We have got unpaid bills and pending bills and what have you. How has this affected you as the SMEs, as the micro lenders?
Well, yes, non-performing loans is a major pain in the in the industry, and we've really tried to come up with as different and as many strategies of managing it as possible, because we need to understand where you are coming from.
Yeah.
Because the major dent or the major challenge came about after March last year, when most customers were not able to pay their facilities as scheduled and on time. However, we've been trying to talk to the customers,
yes,
to repackage the facilities, to give them moratoriums, to restructure the facility, so that at least if you're earning 100,000 and you're earning 50,000, you can readjust that installment to suit the 50,000,
yeah,
either by increasing the period of the facility, or repackaging it so that it can suit your current financial status. And I know most banks, the provisions have been, the budget provisions have been quite huge. Yeah.
We have got so many unregulated, macro lenders in the country. Some of them are running, operating illegally, and I'm so sure you know about this.
Yeah.
And they have greatly affected the operations and the business in general, in the business. So how is this going to be affected now that there's so many across the country?
Yes.
How is it going to be regulated, even as in your board, as your communities, the way you operate, the way you people are making sure that all these unregulated micro lenders are not in business? Okay, but before you answer that, let's just take a very short break, and then when we come back, let's go and talk more about the proliferation of unregistered micro lenders in the country, affecting the business in the micro and credit limited in the country. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
And welcome back. We're still having a conversation here. Money matters. We love to talk about money matters. It started even way back in the Bible. So with me here is still Mr. Peter Macharia, Kamau, the CEO of Jijenge Credit Limited. Let's just talk about money matters today. Kidogo too, all right? So before we went on a break, CEO, we talk about the proliferation of the micro lenders who are not registered in the country. How are they affecting your business? More so, we have got these mobile money lenders. Yes.
Thank you, Victor.
Yeah.
Well, what I personally can say is that there's no harm with or rather, what has been happening is investors have been trying to look for businesses that they can do, and one of them, which is imagined, is that micro lending has a lot of income or money.
Yes.
And therefore, whether you are skilled in it or not skilled in it, you put your money there. And that's why you find there have been so many mobile lending platforms and apps that have been that have been coming up. And then there are also micro lenders, non-deposit micro lending organizations that have also been coming up. especially like before COVID, there were so many, but when COVID came, most of them vanished or closed.
Yeah.
But for the mobile lenders, that's the challenge. The biggest challenge with them is that they don't have physical offices. They don't have. You're not able to engage them on one-on-one.
Yes.
In case there's a complaint,
yes.
You're not able to. You can't physically see them, and therefore, and even their way of operation. You see them. They look at. They're able to tap into those apps.
Yeah.
Are very tech savvy, or those companies, those mobile lenders. Their apps are so advanced that it can tap into all your contacts.
Yeah.
Once you say accept, it taps into your entire contact database in your phone. And in case you fail to pay, because they don't have any form of security.
Yes. Yeah, because most people always find their message, because personally I've received like 2 or 3 messages sending me so and so, took a loan with I don't know which kind of provider, and now tell him or her to do this and that.
Yes.
Is that a good idea?
It's not a good idea, because money matters are very personal and very confidential, and I believe when you're borrowing, you'd hate to. I think very few people would like to know where you've gotten you borrowed your money.
Yes.
Yeah, because you might be borrowing from the mainstream banks, or from micro lenders, or from the mobile apps, and situations drive you into doing that. So that's purely personal and private and confidential. Even your own close relatives should not know, and therefore that kind of that way of engaging. Or having some what I call collateral damage. It's not the best way to solve a problem.
Yes.
The best method is a traditional type of banking, whereby you come yourself by your own violation. You walk into a finance organization and say that you want to borrow $1 million, and to confirm and to ensure that. And to give the financer the confidence that you're going to pay, you provide some form of security, either a logbook or a title deed or your payslip or something like that. And it should only be between you and the financer.
Yes.
Nobody, even if you default, nobody else should be involved.
Another third party, unless the guarantor.
Even guarantors, like at Jijenge Credit, you don't even ask for guarantors. Fine, you might ask for the next of kin, but even if you fail to pay, we will never engage the next of the next of kin, where is so and so.
Yes.
Because at times it happens that maybe you've traveled abroad, and wherever you are,
you cannot access the system to pay.
Yeah, you can't accept the system to pay. So the next of kin can say so and so is out of the country, and he went to a country maybe where there are no financial institutions, or there's no M-Pesa to service the facility. That's it. We don't even tell the next of kin why we are calling you, or why we are looking for you. Yes.
Why? Let me just ask this question. There is this debate by the government to regulate the micro lenders. Is this a good idea?
Yes, personally I feel it's a good idea, because one, most of those mobile lending platforms, or even some micro lenders, their source of funding has been quite questionable.
Yes.
And therefore, to avoid and to ensure that we follow the rules of avoiding situations whereby we get funding from maybe terrorism or fraudulent means, or corrupt money, or stolen funds. The CBK and the government is doing the right thing to try and find out where did you get your funds, because it will be foolhardy for the government to allow you pumping money stolen. Maybe you are, for example, you are one of the COVID billionaires.
Yes.
You stole money from people who are sick, from KEMSA, then you come and open a microfinance. Surely it's not helping, because that person should be in the gallows.
Yes.
Should be removed from the system, so that the system should be the currency circulating locally should be genuine currency, should be genuine funds, should be clean funds. So nobody should be given any opportunity to come and wash or clean their funding or their ill-gotten wealth through a regulated system.
Let me ask you this question. Most people, and even most of the lenders, micro lenders,
Yes.
there have been some situations where you find people bank with certain micro lenders and all of a sudden they go down.
Yes.
They disappear.
Yes.
How has this been you as the micro lenders trying to avoid such kind and address these kind of issues? Because you find you have got like almost 500,000 people banking with you, and then all of a sudden you go under receivership.
Yes.
Then with all the money, they disappear. So what are you doing so that, you know, moving forward, you avoid, or some of these companies avoid such kind of scenarios in future?
Thank you, Victor.
Yeah.
The protection of public funds or deposits is done by an organization called KBC, and it falls under bank supervision, central bank supervision. They're supposed to ensure that any person who is collecting money or deposits from the public, be it a SACCO or be it a microfinance or be it a bank, that money is safe and secure. When I was in the bank, we used to do liquidity returns every 10th, 20th and 30th of every month. So and we send them to CBK so that the CBK can see whether the liquidity of the institution you're reporting for is within the range, and the funds are secure, and more so they're insured. Because it is the responsibility of CBK to ensure that if an organization sinks or closes, the funds are safe, and members of the public are given a good refund. And how they've done it is that there are those organizations that don't take any deposits. Like Jijenge Credit Limited, we are a non-deposit taking microfinance. You are not allowed to take a single coin from any member of the public. We fund our loans by borrowing from local banks.
Yes.
Then number two, if you start taking deposits, there's a license fee you pay at central bank. Either a deposit taking microfinance or a bank, you must pay a certain deposit that will act as a safe as security. Yes. Just in case you go under. That same funding is what will be used to pay over and above the insurance that you cover maybe every year or whatever period of, depending on the deposits you hold. Yes. So therefore, I believe the system is well managed, and nobody should open an organization and start collecting funds without getting the proper documentation and the proper paperwork from the relevant government securities. In 30 seconds, how are you planning to cushion your customers as Jijenge Credit Limited to, against such kind of happenings as Jijenge Credit Limited? In 30 seconds, please. At Jijenge Credit, number one, in terms of loan facilities that we give, all our customers are given the opportunity to come and reorganize and reschedule and repackage their facilities to suit their depressed financial incomes. And then number two, as we don't take any deposits from any member of the public, and therefore the day we will start taking it, we will have paid CBK the 100 million that is required to register a deposit taking microfinance. Okay, all right. Yeah. Thank you so much. That is Peter Macharia Kamau, the CEO of Jijenge Credit Limited, talking to us matters money and how your finances are safe with any of the micro lenders. That is it.